E-mini playbook, November 13th, 2023, 7-minute recap. Let's take a look at the playbook for today. We start where we always start with the daily. But before we get into our daily chart, we want to take a step back to the fundamentals of the playbook strategy. We are always looking for the sentiment to determine who's in control. However, we also want to look at the market mood. We go off of 7 different market moods. We get into the details of those into the videos, how they come into sequence, and why it's important to monitor them. But in a nutshell, we observed that each market has different characteristics. It has different personalities. There are different quirks that each market has. That's the benefit of beginning with one market and allowing ourselves to learn the nuances of that market because each market will behave differently. Gold will behave very differently than silver. Futures will behave very different than Forex. Forex will behave very different than individual stocks. And even inside the stock market, different stocks will behave in different ways, and we will learn those patterns. So we observe those characteristics of each market. After that, once the characteristics are observed, we see that the market has different moods. And a parallel that we use often in the program is that when we have friends or when we have partners, we have the opportunity to learn those individuals and we get attuned to the type of mood that they are in. And knowledge of the mood that they're in lets us know how we are to conduct ourselves. We will not go with our intellectual hats on when we observe that our partner is in a playful mood. When our partner is upset, we will not go and look to uh, create activity that's humorous, okay, based on what the partner's mood is or the person's that we're interacting with mood is, that will determine how we will interact with them. And that's wisdom and knowledge over time. And it's the same thing with the markets and with trading. We want to know what mood the market is in. So we observe 7 moods. We label them trend entry, trend pause, trend continuation, congestion, trend reversal, and trend exit. Stick a pin in those 7 because we're going to look at today as an example of 3 of those different moods happening throughout the day and each mood giving us an indication of how we are to respond. But first, let's start with the daily. Going back, we see that in August, we have this peak and we have activity going down. We have downward trends, we have upward trends, and we go all the way to October 16th and we see this break downwards leading into the end of October. And the end of October, we get this drastic swing upwards and we are going back to the upside. So that's where we are on the daily. And going back a couple of days, and again, we're using open high low bars so that we can see the day's activity in just a snapshot. And we go back to the 9th, which was Thursday. We see this slight break in the upward trend because Thursday gave us a day that closed significantly less than what it opened as. And that's the first day that's happened in this entire upward trend. So that's a significant event to take note of. Friday, we get this very large correction. This bar opens here, closes here. So as we go into today's activity, we are entertaining the question of, will this upward trend continue? And we only get an answer to that using our intraday tools. So when we go into the tools that we use, we focus on the tick chart and we also focus on the advanced decline line. Those give us an idea intraday of whether or not the bulls are in control or the bears are in control. So today's open, when we look at the advanced decline line, we see it opens in a negative territory. However, we see it trickling up and we see a drastic move up, going all the way up until 12 o'clock. So the entire morning session, the advanced decline line is moving upwards. How does that translate into the price activity? The price activity is a mirror of the advanced decline line. We start with the market open 9:30 here, and the market goes upwards until when? Until we get this peak here at around 12. So you can see going back and forth between the advanced decline lines, upward movement ending at around 12. We see the same thing happening with the price. The price goes upward and then it fizzles out. Why is this important? Because we can isolate today's activity into three different moods. How do we do that? Let's box this here, being the morning session. Let's take the next bar, the next mood here, which is what happens at 12. And then let's take the third activity here. Oops. Going into the afternoon session. All right. How will we label this? When we look at the moods of the market, we can call this morning activity a trend. Okay, going all the way up until 12 o'clock. We can call this activity at 12 o'clock a trend pause. Again, if we're in real time and we're only seeing this, we don't know that this is going to stall. We don't know if this is one of these pauses that happened earlier in the morning. So this represents trend pause. As that trend pause continues, we go into the third mood, mood, which is congestion. And again, we have an algorithm that paints activity based on the bar's movements. So we see the upward trend. While we're in the upward trend, the algorithm is painting green. While we're in the trend pause, it's still painting green. When that pause continues, we go into white, which represent congestion. So that gives us three different market moods to determine whether or not we are going to go long. So the morning gave us long opportunities while we were in this upward trend. When this happens, when we go into this trend pause, the question becomes, do we hold on to our long trades or do we get out of our long trades? Then when we see this congestion, that gives us an idea that this trend is more than likely over. Not guaranteed, but the probabilities are on the side that the market has entered into balance. We see bulls in control here. We see a pause here, and then here we have a period in the afternoon where no one's really in control. So we don't have activity in the afternoon, but in the morning, we did have opportunity to enter into a certain number of long trades. So how did that look for us? When the market opens at 9:30, we have a period where we're waiting to make sure that this trend is going to be strong. We see that we're able to go long here, to get out here when we see that the advanced decline line is fizzling out, and that protects us from all of this sideways activity in the afternoon. We don't like sideways activity. We like to see one party in control. It can either be the bulls or it can be the bears, but we definitely want to see dominance and an establishment of who's in control to let us know which direction we want to go into. And again, going into the daily and seeing that we were in an upward trend, we were favoring long trends anyway, because that's the side of the market that we want to be on when we are in a daily trend. So we go in steps. We start with the daily always. We see what the daily mood is, and then we go into intraday activity. We want to see what the intraday activity is at that particular time when we are entering into our trades. And then once we establish those items, we are able to make trading decisions, both where to get in, how long to stay in, and also where to get out. Hope everyone had a good trading session. We are going into tomorrow, where tomorrow will also be another question of whether or not this upward activity will continue. It does look pretty good to the upside after we get this correction here. This bar Friday lets us know that the bulls are still maintaining their control. However, we do have a zone that we're bumping our heads up against here. So we want to see going into tomorrow, Tuesday, that we have good volume and that we have strong uh, indication on the advanced decline line that we are going in an upward direction. If we have those things in place, then we are pretty safe to go into significant long trades tomorrow. So that's where our sentiment will lie. We look forward to tomorrow's session. Hope everyone traded well and have a wonderful evening.